What it is. This is your boy, and you are tuned into the Random Podcast Show. It is your boy Hip Hop Karma, and I have another guest for us this week. His name is ANNIMEANZ. How you doing, ANNIMEANZ?
What up? What up? I'm back.
There he is, man. There he is.
There he goes.
How you been, man? How's everything going?
Man, everything's going good, you know. Trying to stay alive, ducking and dodging Corona and all this other crazy shit, you know what I'm saying?
Man, actually, that's one of the first things I wanted to talk to you about, bro. You actually caught that shit.
Yeah, man. It was vicious.
How did you deal with that shit, bro?
Man, just on some real shit, it might sound corny, but just being positive and fucking drinking hella water, and I drink like 3 like boiling hot teas every 3 hours.
Yeah.
I was fucking eating lemons, like whatever fucking remedy they were saying, I was doing it all. Plus, I was taking the immune system boosters. I was just indulging myself with all kinds of shit.
Was there any fruits or anything that you was eating? Or anything?
Yeah, I was eating apples because apples, believe it or not, they're antioxidant.
Yeah.
And they clean out your lungs.
Wow.
So apples and coffee are actually the best thing for your lungs, believe it or not.
Wow. And so, like, how long did you have that shit for?
I had it in my body for 35 days, but I probably had symptoms for about 18 to 20 days. Yeah.
Wow. So what was it like when it hit you, or did you feel it, or was it just like, you know what, everybody getting tested, I'm gonna get tested?
I ain't even going front, because at first, when I first got it, like that I could really realize that I had it. My bad. Was I remember like I was sleeping hella, like I'd be out like a whole half a day, wake up like, damn, I was just asleep, and then go back to sleep, right?
Yeah.
And then from there I'm like, man, hold up, like what the fuck's going on? You know what I mean? So I got myself up, and then like one day I just had like this cold diarrhea, but it was like vicious diarrhea, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is that? So
is that what led you to go get tested?
Nah, I still was just thinking like, because I don't really eat milk. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I think I had got some cereal or something. You know,
Okay.
You know how that shit be?
So you keep finding shit to blame it on.
Yeah, you get high and shit. And
Yeah.
shit. So whatever. So anyway, so I'm like, yeah, that's probably what that is. Because, you know, you see COVID, this, that on the TV, and you don't really want to believe that it's that close to you. You feel me?
Right.
But in real time, it's probably a person away from us daily at this point, right?
Damn.
So, you know, yeah, like you said, you just kind of like making excuses, I guess, because it was never really hitting me hard. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I was getting a symptom at a time, and it wasn't like I just had this overwhelming, like, knock me down on my bed.
Right.
But then I started getting like these real random headaches, and they were like, man, they were vicious headaches, bro.
Huh.
So my cousin, he had called me, right? And he's like my blood cousin. I grew up with him my whole life. He's like my bro. He's basically my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And me and him was hanging out heavy. We was heavy hanging out. And then he told me, he was like, hey, my son got a fever the other day, right?
Oh, shit.
But he's telling me this as we're smoking a blunt. I'm like, what do you mean? You know, why you didn't tell me this?
Yeah.
Like, before we were fucking smoking a blunt. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, so I didn't even really pay no mind, because he was like, man, he probably, you know, whatever.
Right.
So he called me back like maybe a few days later. I had to go to the doctor for like a separate scenario.
Yeah.
Like a checkup, right? And he called me like, hey man, everybody in the crib got a fever.
Whoa.
And I was like, hell nah.
Shit.
But at that moment,
did you get the fever? You never had the fever.
Look, at that moment, it like I zeroed in, and I noticed that I was just sweating like hella, and I felt like my body was like, it was. Now when I really like focused on what was going on around me, because I was blowing big weed all day long.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Just doing it, and then when I really started to focus, I could feel like my body was like felt slow. It was different. So I said, you know what? I'm already here at UCLA. I'm gonna just go see what's up. Fuck it. I ain't got nothing to lose anyway, right?
Yeah.
So boom, I go in this little tent, and they take my temperature, and they come back and they're like, hey, we need you to stay because you got 101 degree temperature.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, what? No, I don't. I don't even feel like I have a fever. They're like, you have a fever. You need to stay. We have to check you.
Wow.
And I'm like,
is that when it set in? Like, damn, this shit real.
I'm like, damn. No, I can't have this shit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna leave, and they're like, you can't leave. like you can't leave. Like
Damn.
you're not walking out of here. You feel me?
Wow. And at that point, did you know, like, damn?
At that point, like some securities were like walking towards me. I'm like, damn, this shit is kind of real.
Wow.
So boom, so I went and seen a doctor, but they didn't make me feel uncomfortable. But they were just like, yo, you can't walk out of here right now
Right.
until you're cleared.
We got to quarantine your ass.
Yeah, you know what I mean. If you're bad, then you're staying here. You know. What I'm saying?
So with the 35-day process, was it every day you getting tested? Every week you getting tested? How much you get tested?
Nah. It was like once I like my body settled down because I stopped smoking weed immediately, right?
Right.
So now my days are sober. So once my body like really started to catch up with itself from not smoking and even eating fast food, because right away I start like it seemed like I was flushing because I was eating fruit. I was eating all the.
Yeah.
I wasn't eating fast food no more. I was like felt like I was losing weight immediately and shit, right?
Yeah.
Now I could feel the symptoms.
Gotcha.
And I would have fevers in the middle of the night. I had like a heavy one where I was like almost delirious at one point.
Damn. Just was sweating it all out.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And it was just like you were sweating constantly. So that's why it was important to hydrate because like you would just sweat constantly. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. At that point, did you start hitting up anybody and everybody that you was around?
Yeah, I hit my whole team and everybody was infected at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we just all quarantined up, but we made it through. You know, my mom's got it, and she, you know, she's a diabetic and shit. And she made it through. You feel me? By the grace of God. So I don't know if there's a lesser type of strand or we just, you know, like. I know at this point in my life I'm overweight, but before as a younger person, like I wasn't overweight. I was pretty healthy. I ran 5 miles at one point in my life every single day. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I abused my body to that extent. Like I wasn't like a heavy drug user and I wasn't an alcoholic, shit like that. So
did you feel more stressed when you had it or when mom's caught it?
I mean, at that point it was synonymous because we all had it together. So it was you know, I would call my mom every day. And I was quarantining in LA, but I would come home every night and like park in the middle of my road, and then my mom would go and be at her door, and I'd just wave at her,
and
say a couple words and shit, and then drive all the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, so, that's crazy. Okay, well, shit. That's crazy. So, so that's 2020, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a hectic year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 2020 wasn't a bad year for me musically, though. You know, like. I feel like I'm getting more known at this point. My social media is growing.
And you still found a way to put out some visuals.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I still kept working. And then the you know, musically wise, the pandemic probably was the best shit that ever happened in my career. You know what I'm saying?
Now with that being said, did it kind of put you more of a grind mode because shit, bars are closed, this is closed, that's closed. Now you ain't got nothing to do but kind of concentrate on your music.
Nah, because I was always grinding like that. Like I put out fucking probably 15 videos a year.
Okay.
Shit, and I'm pretty. I mean, you're the man I pay for them. So.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
I could quote that. Yeah, we got a couple of them.
So you know what I mean. So I've been hustling like that, but you know, I guess it just took for people to slow down in their time to really pay attention to what's going on around them. You know, the world is so fast, bro. You have so many rappers, you have so many everything going on in life, and I can attest to that just from having my son with me over the holidays. You feel what I'm saying? Like. It was always something going on, you know what I'm saying?
So did you see an impact on your artistry? Did you see a lot more eyes get to notice you because people are actually watching now?
Yeah. More views, my followers are out of here now. You know, we doing thousands of views and shit like that.
Yeah, I saw a couple of your stories get 80, 50,000, 80,000 views and shit.
I got some that are over 100,000, just me talking. You know, people like to hear me talk and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so.
That's why you on here. We're trying to get these views up, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about the first, man. How did you start this record label, man? How did it start from an artist to a label?
You know what, to keep it funky, that's a dope question because no one's ever asked that question, bro. But it wasn't originally my crew. It was a dude named DJ Clean.
Okay. And
he's the one who created First Class. So if people that know us or follow us, we have a tag called Welcome to First Class.
I've heard it.
And I know people probably think, what the fuck does that got to do with this? The first, but we used to be a part of a group called First Class. It was a crew.
Okay.
And DJ Clean was the leader of it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he kind of, you know, he had a mom that had she had sickness in his family. I don't know if it was his mom or his father at the time, but he had some sick people there. So he had a lot of things going on. So he eventually kind of faded off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know, I had been running around with them for about a year and invested a lot of my time into it, as far as, you know, representing it in the streets, putting the tags in my music. And I kind of just went out and started handpicking like local rappers from around where I'm from to create First Class, because it was just me, him, and another artist, dude. You feel what I'm saying? And so I went and I met Sick Nasty, and I met an artist named Smoke Major.
Yeah.
And you know, Andrew John is like my little brother. He's been running around with me since he was a kid. You know what I'm saying?
What year was this? What year was this in concept?
I want to say about 08, because it was like right after I left Guerrilla Black's camp.
Okay.
And I was just kind of like doing my own thing, like independently, like really understanding the grind at that point.
Right.
I hadn't, you know, because from my career thus far, I'd been a part of a signed rapper's entourage.
Right.
I mean, I was a part of his crew, and I was a rapper from there, but really I was his entourage. Like,
right.
Everybody else there was, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, let's talk about this, because you've actually done that a couple times. You've worked with a couple artists.
Yeah.
You've been up under them. You've worked with Glasses Malone. You've worked with Mr. Criminal, and obviously you're working with yourself now. Do you feel that any of these artists did anything extra for you, or has it been all your grind?
You know, when it comes to the way. Okay, when it comes to Glasses, I actually worked under him. And everything I know musically right now that I've been able to prosper from came from that man. You know what I'm saying?
He gave you some good game.
That's all it was probably a 5-year school lesson. You feel what I'm saying? From making beats to picking singles to BPMs and records. You know, ad libs, the importance of vocal tones and pitches, and
did he kind of help you with the construction of a song, basically, and how
the whole understanding of sampling a song, you know, creating a song in the aspect from literally the ground up, from producing it to laying the vocals. Like I can produce a record from the ground up. I don't touch keys, but I'm a sampler and arranger. I can produce. I can have a producer in front of me and produce a record from the ground up. No problem.
There's Glasses like that behind closed doors? Is he somebody that kind of picks his own samples and works like that as well?
Yeah. He's actually producing now. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, back then that's what we did. You know, it was just a studio full of artists, and we was just picking beats and getting his projects ready. We're working on our own projects, and everybody just brainstorming about BPMs and what sample sounds better. And you know what I'm saying? Like, Glasses was early in the West Coast samples, the old school shit.
Right.
Like when Mustard and them came around, like Glasses did that first.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? He probably didn't get the credit.
Right.
But he really did that first. You know what I'm saying? With the That Good.
Right.
And you know, then after That Good came, then you know, you had all these other sample records that start coming after, but Glasses really started that.
Glasses been dope for a long time, man.
Yeah.
He been dope for a long time. And then you got into working with the Mr. Criminal situation, man. How did that come about?
The thing with Criminal was just me more needing like distribution. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, I need to get some distribution that'll give me some attention.
Right.
Because a lot of these companies out here, they'll give you distribution, but they're not willing to give you promo along with it. Right. So the thing with Mr. Criminal is like, you know, I'll give you a couple albums, you distribute them, and let me just kind of prosper off the attention I'll get from putting my videos on your YouTube page or just being able to coincide with your camp.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, cool, he was with it. You know what I mean? He gave me that opportunity, and in return, you know, he dropped a couple of compilations. I dropped fire verses on all those joints.
Yeah.
You know, I gave him a flawless album.
He a legend in the game too.
Yeah, you know, he a legend. Yeah, and he, you know, he wasn't no hater, bro. He was a solid dude, and he always kept it 100 with me. You know,
how'd you come across him?
I was doing like a lot of features for the Crime Family artists that were signed to his label, different cats.
Okay.
And you know, then we start kind of talking on some radio, on some like working a record at radio.
Yeah.
And that's something that I learned at Glasses. So I kind of learned how to like, maybe I'm not gonna say I'm not a radio indie, but I know how to pick radio indies, and I know what radio indies do.
Right.
So I know how to get, you know, like let's say for instance, if I'm running like my album's gonna drop, right?
Right.
I don't have a single for radio because I don't feel radio is that important any longer.
Right.
But if I wanted to, I know how to get a single into rotation to promote that album. Even though it's a mix show, it's still getting played for a local artist. That's a legit move right there.
Let's talk about that. You think nowadays a viral video is more important than a viral song on the radio? What you think?
Yeah, most def. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Probably out of 30 people, maybe only 14 of them listen to the radio, if that. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And a lot of the radio shit is watered down anyways. I think if you finna go to radio, you might as well go to XM.
Right.
Because they playing the B-sides, you know what I mean? The hot shit.
Right.
The radio, they only playing the top 40 shit. That shit's corny. You know what I'm saying?
True story, man. And let's get into some funky shit, man. I know you've got your chance to get into some funky shit while you was in this game, man.
Yeah.
You've had a couple beefs that have come up and passed over and shit like that. Yeah. What do you think makes an artist want to beef with Any Means, man?
It's probably just, the cockiness, I guess. You feel me? I know what I'm capable of as far as songwriting and rapping and what I bring to this game in general in the aspect of our scene, the Chicano scene. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say it's Chicano rap, but just Chicano MCs. It's a community of people that are aspiring to be something bigger. You feel what I'm saying? But we're very local in the sense that we all know each other. So
yeah,
I think I'm really who I say I am to every extent. Like I've never proclaimed to be a hardcore banger. I never proclaimed to be a big time drug dealer. I just spoke on my experiences in life, and when I spoke about having things, I produced them.
Yeah.
So I'm really who I say I am. There's no cut with me. You feel me? Like I don't have nothing to hide out here. So I think people may take offense to that at times because there's a lot of dudes that really ain't who they say they are out here. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And it ain't about being tough. It's about all aspects. You feel me?
Have you ever got to? Unfortunately, I know I have in the industry. Have you ever got to meet somebody that you came across that you were like, damn, that's not who I thought it was?
A lot of times. You feel me? But at the same time, like I'm just here to do my thing. You feel me? Like I look at it like this: if you can't compete with me musically, then you don't really interest me, because I'm here for the music. You know what I'm saying?
What keeps Any Means drive to keep that competitive nature? What's your drive, brother?
Just these young dudes, a lot of these young boys that are really spitting, that are really really respecting the game, that are really, promoting, really out here like battling in the trench. I respect that shit.
Anybody out there that you watching, got your eye on, that you like? Yeah, keep doing that shit, little homie.
Yeah, I like Little Weirdo.
Okay.
I was just talking about him, but I like his shit. I got a crazy story about that dude, right?
Okay.
Like a couple years ago, this fool hits me up on a DM, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, you got some dope music. Like, I think we should collaborate because I got some dope shit too, right?" But at the time, like, I got the record on the radio. I'm doing all these interviews, so I'm like low key feeling myself.
Yeah.
So I hit him with like a price and shit. Like, boom, I don't know what it was. It wasn't too bad though. I don't think, because I don't even hit people over the head now.
Right.
And then whatever, right? So then boom, like it's probably like 2 years later, and I see like dude is starting to get traction, but I don't remember that whole little interaction at first, right?
Right.
And then I hit him up and I'm like, "Hey, your shit's hot. Like we should do a record and shit, right?"
Yeah.
But then, as I'm hitting him, like once I hit him up, I send the DM. I see the other DM.
You see all the other messages pop up.
And I'm like, "Oh hell no, this fool ain't never gonna get back." You feel me? So I'm like, oh shit.
Man.
But I had no idea that they were the same person. Like I didn't even put two and two together.
Right.
And it was years later, but when I see the DMs, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, shit. Hey man.
Yeah.
Hey, Little Weirdo's grinding his ass off, man.
Yeah.
For the last couple years, he's been putting out nasty visuals. He's consistent. He's out here. I don't know where the fuck he came from. I don't know if he just came out of jail. I don't know where he came from, but last 2 years he's been cracking. You know
He said he's from the 858. He said that's. He said in the song, right?
Yes, sir. So it's the first, man. We actually got to interview the first lady artist that you guys actually have on the artist.
Yeah. What's up with Lovely, man? How's she doing?
She seemed like she was in high spirits, man. She had a good year. She had a grinding year. It seemed like she got through it all, man. She's a champion. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. We talk, but we got a schedule now.
Yeah.
And she's doing her promo shit, so it's like I didn't even like when I got here, she was already taking off. So it's like you feel
cross paths.
But I mean, I feel like that's what needs to happen though, right? Like when I was an artist coming in the game, like I always envisioned like doing them type of things. Like you get signed to a label, you go to press, you do this, you do that, and it never really happened like that for me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as I get bigger as an artist and I create my own label, I want to give them that feeling and that reality of what it is. You know,
hell yeah.
Like I'm signed to a real label. My people got me going here. They got me going here.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
seeing this person. I'm doing this show.
And you already
just
got
keeping
on
them working.
On with Beto?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
on the radio already?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Jesus, man, that boy grinding over here.
Yeah.
How do you wear two hats, man? How do you wear the artist hat and the CEO hat? How's that work?
You know, at this point, like I feel like as I grow older in my craft, there's no need for me to like constantly putting out content like the way a lot of the younger fools are.
Yeah.
Because to an extent, I'm already kind of stamped. Like people know I'm ANNIMEANZ and shit.
Right.
Not to say like I'm a huge star, but in this scene, I'm one of the premier artists. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, I'm growing and starting to break barriers, but at the same time, like I need to be very cautious of what I'm putting out, opposed to I got to keep putting out quality opposed to quantity. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know, I'm working probably 10 months out of the year.
Is the first looking for new artists?
No, not right now. We're not. I think right now we just, you know, we're gonna see what we can do with Lovely. We're giving her an opportunity to show us what she can do.
Okay.
And you know, if that pans out, then yeah, we definitely are gonna put people on.
That's right.
Because the point of the label is to you know, I just feel like as a Mexican rapper, there's nowhere for us to go. You feel me? Like we can't walk in the Capitol, we can't walk in the Def Jam. Like that ain't for us.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Lord knows why. I feel like hip hop is for everybody, but for some reason we're just not. We don't fit in there. So at some point, I feel like it's very important that we create our own outlet. So it was important for me to make my label public and make it a real company, a real company that invests into real talent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, something that came out of left field, man, like about 4 or 5 years ago was an independent YouTube channel called Latin Beast.
Yeah.
And they've been fucking pushing since.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's your take on stuff like Latin Beast? Is that a benefit or is that a crutch for Latin artists?
It's an outlet for them for sure. You know, I've been rocking with Beast. I was probably one of the first artists that had a name that they featured.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Then you know they actually began to break artists at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But no, I think they're good because they broke artists. You feel what I'm saying? But you know, you gotta understand, like that's only one outlet. So it's being constantly bombarded with everything. Mm-hmm. There's really no filter process there because it's like the floodgates and everybody's trying to make it through.
So my question with that is like, do you feel that because they allow everybody in, do you feel like it gets almost oversaturated with that, or do you feel like it's still a good thing?
No, because the artists that are meant to shine.
True story.
You know, the artists that are stars in that right are, look who they are.
Right. Right.
You know, and they all came from beefs. Even myself, you feel what I'm saying? Like,
right.
They've had a large part in promoting my brand.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't think people could argue that I'm not a premier artist in this scene.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
How did you get started into the music, man? What got you into this music scene? Like, was there artists that you were working with up under them that you kind of was like, take your thing up?
Nah, it was my little cousin, man. My cousin, he wanted me to kind of get into it just to kind of like.
Was your cousin with First Class or?
Nah. He went to Music Institute in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
And he just kind of like brought it up as like an alternative to like getting out and selling dope and fucking running the streets. You know what I'm saying? Because I was getting out on parole with 2 strikes.
How old were you when you actually said, you know what, maybe I shouldn't go back to jail, I should do this music shit?
I must have almost been in my late 20s at that point. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And is that because did you get a chance to really dive into the music when you were going to jail, or it wasn't even on your mind? You was in them streets.
It was never. I mean, I kind of played with it here and there, but it wasn't a thing, bro. Like, it just wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I remember like watching Slow Pain, rest in peace, fucking freestyling at a picnic I was at one time. You feel me? So it's weird because I came up like listening to hip hop like intensely. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But never really having a passion to rap, just loving the music. Mm-hmm. And you know, as a man, like everybody that I ever idolized or listened to their music, I've stood in the same room with them or did music with them or
Yeah.
shared a card. So to me, it's just this life I never seen it happening. You feel me?
So when you actually got into the music thing, was there an artist? I know you said your cousin that actually introduced you to, and you said that you don't worry about it. You said that you got to work with some of the artists that you've admired and stuff like that. What's the artist that you've worked with that you're like, damn, I got to work with this fool? Like that was a dope thing.
I'm Black, Gorilla Black. You know what I mean? When I did a record with him, like I had Gorilla Black's record in the pen.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like I was watching the fucking videos with Jagged Edge, and like he was a rapper to me, like like a star. You feel what I'm saying? And then
so you're watching him in the pen, and you come out and sign to him?
yeah, like probably maybe like a year down the road.
Right.
Cause I met a DJ named DJ Ill Will that's Kid Ink's manager now.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I met all these famous people and shit throughout my journey.
Right.
And it's not like, you know, it's not like I'm just name dropping. Like these people were really in my fucking journey. You feel me?
Right.
And that's what really motivated me to keep going because like I know people that have rap. Okay, like it's like for instance, you ever go to them hood shows? In the city, you know, them little flyer shows with all the locals.
Yeah.
And I know people there, you know, because I did shows like that at one point. And there's people there that will never, ever surpass that scene.
Right.
Like, they'll never stop making music in the garage, and only their close people come to listen. And, and they're just never going to make it out of that scene.
What do you think that comes from? Do you think that comes from a mentality, or do you think that comes from the music they're making?
It's a whole line of shit, you know, just not being able to talk correctly, you know, not having the right type of music, not having the right type of wardrobe, just not being ambitious enough, you know. It's so many things, bro. You feel me? But it's like, you know, when you're into something because you're places that you know motherfuckers ain't in this bitch. You feel what I'm saying?
Was there coming up? Was there a Latin artist that you listened to that you grew up to that inspired you to do the rap shit, or who were you listening to growing up?
As far as Latin or just in general?
In general, rappers that you listen to.
Oh man, I started early with like Eazy-E and NWA. That was my shit right there.
Yeah.
You know, and then DOC and fucking Dr. Dre. All that shit was my shit, Snoop.
Yeah.
But then, you know, when I start hearing like Nas and Jay-Z, like that's when I was like, yo, this shit right here.
Yeah.
Because it was a different vibe. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was almost like a puzzle in a way.
Yeah.
Because you're hearing this New York shit and they talking like gangster, but they saying certain words that, you know, we don't say that because we're not from there.
Right. You got to figure it out a little bit.
Yeah, you got to kind of decide. You know, the shit was just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying?
So growing up, what was the artist like? Give me your top 3 artists that you was listening to.
Man, I was listening to Nas. I was listening to Mobb Deep. Prodigy from Mob was like my favorite rapper. Corrupt at one point was my favorite rapper because he was like an ill lyricist until I don't know what happened to him.
He's still dope. He out there somewhere. You feel me?
Yeah. You know, Exhibit. Like I was a huge Exhibit fan at one point. Exhibit was the hardest shit at one point, dog. When he was with Dre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I was just into it. Like I really loved rap and hip hop in general, you know?
Yeah. So coming up, man, and being out in and out the pen, man, how long did you do in the pen, bro?
I did a 7-year stretch and then I went back like, I don't know, maybe a few more years later and I did like 2 more years or some shit.
Damn, so damn near 10.
Yeah, I did YA time too. I did like 5 years in YA. So, you know, I've been doing this shit half my life, bro. So, you know, it's only right to just find a way to get the fuck away from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
now I want to dig a little deep into your personal life. Now you got a son now.
I have 2 sons actually.
You have 2 sons now.
Yes, sir.
How do you keep them going to the positive side of things?
You got to be a little firm with them, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And you got to teach them about morals early. You know, like
do they know about your past?
Yeah, for sure. You know, they know as much as they're willing to ask. Because one of them's 11 and one of them's 4. So he don't really, you know, he likes Tupac.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like he's into Tupac and shit. But my oldest son, like, you know, as he's getting older, he's asked me a lot. You know what I mean? And I have no reason to lie to him. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, like, I don't glorify gang lifestyle. I don't glorify prison lifestyle.
Yeah.
I don't even do that in my music. You dig me? And I'll speak on it because I actually lived through it, but I don't endorse that shit. That shit is the devastation of where we come from.
Yeah, yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? Our whole mindset is based around just prisons and gangs and negativity and shit. You know what I'm saying? And my music is more really just telling the story of that life for people to understand the mindset of where we come from. You feel me? But in my personal belief, like, we need to get away from that shit. That shit is toxic for our people at this point. You know what I'm saying?
I know you said you was listening to Gorilla Black when you was in prison.
Yeah.
Was music something that kind of helped you pass the time? Did you ever write while you was in there, or did you ever get down on music?
Towards the end, when I knew that I was finna come out and start rapping, I started writing.
Okay.
But I didn't know how to write rhymes, so I was writing the shit like a letter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was constantly in that bitch, like, trying to perfect my flow. So, that was the one thing that I can honestly say that I did right, was that when I finally came home, and the reason I was able to get into certain circles and shit was because I had practiced my raps constantly and vigorously in prison.
Right.
At the end half of when I was gonna come home.
Right.
So when I would rap, people would hear me and be like, "This fool can, like, rap." You feel me? Like, he's on point. Like, I knew how to rap. I had the flow, the cadence, all that shit down. For some reason, I just didn't have the confidence to do it on the mic the way I did it live, because I only learned how to do it live, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I would get on that mic, I would feel a little intimidated, and that's one of the real reasons why, in my opinion, it kind of took me a little bit longer to kind of go, because there's been 2 or 3 different variations of the artist ANNIMEANZ at this point.
And this is the one that you got the most confidence in the voice and everything.
Well, yeah,
like that.
this is the final product of the artist that is. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Coming up in the game, man. Did you come up like recording in a booth? Did you come up recording in a homie's pad? Was it on tapes? Like, how was you? What was your first time that you get in?
At one point, it was just trying to get into anything that was going to record.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I started doing it in like 06.
Okay.
And the home studio was barely starting to really pop.
Right.
So you still have people that had studios and fucking like I remember one time we went to a fucking a storage place.
Yeah.
And instead of storages, there was like all kinds of studios in that motherfucker. You feel me?
That's crazy as shit.
Or like, I remember just going to like people's back houses, and they'd have like a room that had a fucking studio in it. One time we was recording at this literally a trap house on 116th and Avalon, and like the bathroom was the booth and shit. Like, you feel me?
So you seen it all?
Yeah, man, bro. We could be here for hours, bro. I could tell you so many stories, beefs, fights, everything you could think of. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Did you ever? I know, being in the streets, man, and having the background that you were having. Did you ever have a background situation where you got into a studio and saw somebody from the other side, and it was a situation, or had that not crossed?
You know what? Yeah, I seen somebody in the studio that was from the other side.
Yeah.
It didn't really turn out that bad, but it could have though, because there's some history with them dudes.
Yeah.
But he showed me respect, and I ain't gonna put his name out there, but if people would be surprised if I said who his name was. It wasn't about no hatred or nothing. No, he was more like, he was kind of like testing my temperature to see where I was. He was ready to trip, but he didn't really want to as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was on the defense, like, I ain't really tripping, but I'm ready to, trip if we have
happens,
to.
it
You know what I'm
happens.
saying?
Yeah.
And we just kind of chopped it up real quick, you know what I mean? Let him know who was doing my thing, because he was actually a part of Glasses Malone's crew, too.
Oh, okay.
So, you know what I mean? We just chopped it up real quick.
Why you always beef with the same artist and the same label?
Man, I don't know. Nah, it was all good, though. Like, it wasn't even a beef, you know? And I seen him a couple times afterwards, but yeah, that happened. But as far as like actual just gang shit, no. But I've been in some fights in the studios, motherfuckers getting stomped out.
Yeah.
Fuck, I could tell you I'll tell you a funny story, right?
Talk to me.
Okay, back then it was a homie. He was from Smooth Hustle. His name was Sonny Blue, right? Well, Sonny Blue is like his family is like a well-known boxing family. I think he was like an Olympic winner and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know this about Sunny Blue, right? So at one point, you know, they had a crew called Dollar Sign Gang, and then we was from Dollar Figure, which was Biggie shit. And,
Right.
and somehow there was some type of tension or something, right?
Yeah.
So I meet him up at this fucking it's like a conference, the Latin Alliance Conference or Latin something conference they used to have in LA.
Yeah.
And it was at a big club, and I met him there, right? So when I meet him there, I'm like, oh, okay, I see this fool. Like, okay, he looks kind of tough, but whatever, you know, I'm gonna go
Right.
there. So I'm like, yeah, what's up, you know? And I'm kind of aggressive, and he's just like cool, like, yeah, it's all good, like,
Yeah, yeah.
don't even trip and shit, right? So you know, whatever. So it wasn't even a beef at that point. And I don't even think it really was. I just think like, you know, when crews have similar names, they kind of
Right. You don't know what's gonna happen.
But point with that being said is like I'm over here pressing, dude. This motherfucker's a fucking an Olympic fucking boxer and shit.
He was like, bro, you
all
got this,
good.
bro.
It's
Yeah,
all
you
good,
got
you know?
this. That's funny. He was like, these hands is registered.
Yeah, but nah, man. Yeah, so you know man, the game is crazy, man.
Yeah.
If you really get to get involved in the game to any degree, like it's a beautiful thing, man. You know.
So let's talk about 2021, man. We are already getting it cracking, man. We are here. It is already jumping off, man. I always like to ask artists, man. I like you guys to set a goal so we can come back 6 to 8 months and achieve that goal. What's a goal for Any Means, man?
Man, I'm trying to break into that million family. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Which I'm pretty sure is right around the corner, and you know, just accomplishing. You know what I mean? That's really what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Is for the accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's right.
I feel like if you're good at what you do, the money's gonna come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's no need for me to be, no, I need the money. Like,
Yeah.
I just got to be good at what I do, and you know, shit'll fall into place. You know what I'm saying?
Keep that fucking passion, brother. Keep kicking ass, man. You're definitely a dope artist. I definitely like having you on the show. Social media, where can they find you on social media?
It's ANNIMEANZ. That's Any Means, and that's for everything. Spotify, Twitter, YouTube, Any Means, all one word. And you can hit me up and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would have asked you where that came from, but Violator fucking asked you that one already. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know, man. Hey, I'm trying to keep, man. You know what I mean? I got some layers. The motherfucker just gotta peel them back. You know what I'm saying? Pause.
Yeah. Well, I know you got the documentary coming.
Yeah, for sure.
We got that coming out, and it's gonna be promoted as well. Is that getting released? Is it already out?
You know, we put that out already. We put the documentary out, but now I'm gonna do like I'm gonna do like a day in the life because we got a virtual show on the 23rd
Okay.
of this month. So make sure that y'all pen that in. The 23rd. It's on a Saturday, and I want to say it starts at 8:00. I'll be streaming live from my IG account, and yeah, it's gonna be a real show. You know, it's just virtual. So I'm gonna do some of the records from the new album.
Hell yeah.
I'm basically for me, I'm performing the new album. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be there. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely gonna be there. So it'll be lit. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, man. Well, shit, man, I greatly appreciate your time.